Alright YouTube, what we have here is a beige seat of a e39. I think it's an older 540. I believe it's a 96 or 97 540. But I'm swapping the leather. What I want to do is change the color of the seat skins in my car. I've got a '03 540 and right now it has black seats. I'm trying to switch over to beige, as you can see, and this one's in good condition. The seat cushion is a little soft, but the seat cushion for my black seat is pretty firm. So I'm gonna swap it over, and I'm gonna show you how, step by step. Stay tuned. First thing, when you start working on one of these seats, if you have the ability to, if the seat motors are working, I'd say go ahead and raise it up as high as you can. Get the seat back in sort of a neutral position, not too far back and not too far forward. Just give yourself a little space to work on it. But the first thing I would like to do when working on these, I like to separate the seat bottom from the backrest, and it's a pretty simple process. Just going to take 2 Torx screws out from underneath this back seat cover, and once you have that off, then there would be 2 levers on either side, one right here, and you depress those levers and you lift the seat from there. I'll show you. Okay, so once you have the back cover off, you take off these caps right here that are capping a lever on either side, these green ones. They just pop right off. So what I'm going to do now is undo this harness, this wiring harness, get it out of the way basically, which there's just some zip ties. That's about it. You don't have to take off any of the seat skin, the leather covers at all when separating the 2 seats, the 2 halves. So I'll be back with that. So getting the seats separated, it's a little tricky, it's not too difficult. But on this type of seat, what you have to do is you got to depress those levers I was telling you. It's hard to see in the shadow here, but depress these levers on the back. They clip in right here on either side, and with them depressed, you can kind of wiggle the seat top separate from the seat bottom. Just wiggle it up and you'll get there. I got the wiring harness out of the way, as you can see. The next step that I'm going to take is taking the seat trim off, which is pretty easy. You got these push clips. You got a few push clips right here around the bottom and towards the front. Let me see, a Torx screw, a Torx bolt right here. On the other side, kind of the same thing. Got a push clip right there. Torx screw right here, and a couple, I think there's 2 of them on the bottom. It's not difficult at all. But one thing that kind of threw me off when I first started taking one of these seats apart was on this side right here. Sometimes there's a little Torx screw that's hidden underneath the seat cushion, and you've got to watch out for that. You can get that Torx screw out without taking the seats apart. You just got to recline the seat a good ways and push back the cushion, and it will expose the Torx screw. But it's missing on this one. Probably someone just didn't realize it and ripped it off or something. But that's the next step, getting the seat trim off. So now that we have the seat trim off, you can see it exposes some of the harness. I say, just be careful with the seat trim, like any piece of trim. It can break. And while you're doing this job, just kind of make sure, take a mental note or take pictures step by step of what you're doing, just to make sure it goes back together the right way. But now with the seat trim off, you don't have to take the seat belt, the lever out of the way. That's not necessary. You can if you want, but you don't have to. Let me see. Another thing, before you get started, extend this piece at least halfway, so you expose this Torx bolt underneath, because because you're gonna have to take that out, to get the seat cover apart to get that out. So do that. Okay, so with the thigh extender out of the way, it comes off easy. You take that Torx out and it just slides up. You move it back out of the way. Not a big deal. So with that out of the way, we can start getting the leather off of this, which basically that involves stretching the leather over these tabs or bending back the tabs to make it easier, and just going around the whole seat and doing that. It's a tedious process, and be careful, take your time. You're probably going to get frustrated like I will, but just take your time and understand that you don't want to rip this. The leather's expensive. So yeah. So I have this side kind of separated from the seat bottom. There are these tabs that I bent back. With an old seat leather, it might not be necessary to bend the tabs back. I do it anyway. It makes it a little bit easier. It doesn't take too long. With the seat leather being old like it is, it's already stretched out. And also what you can do is compress the cushion a little bit to get a little bit more slack in the leather, so you can stretch it over the tab and clear it. But I just start up here, work my way down, then across here. Now I'm starting on this side, doing the same thing. Okay, I got this side complete, and it was a little tight down in this area. So I think I said earlier that you don't have to take the seat belt off, and you don't, but it does make it a little bit easier if you do, because it was a little tight down here. But you do have to disconnect the electrical connections to the seat belt lever. Just work those through. Get that out of the way. Easy, not a big deal. So now that the seat leather is away from the seat completely, only thing holding on now is the cushion, which you have a couple of hog rings up here. You got 3 of them actually, and you're just going to cut those, and that's about it. Alright, they are apart, and like I was saying, it's just those hog ring clips that we're holding in towards the front of the seat. The back was just held on by the seat skin being wrapped around the seat bottom, so not a big deal. See electrical connections. Here there's just a connection for the seat heater. That was it. If you were working on the passenger seat, then you would also have a seat recognition sensor, a passenger recognition sensor. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Not a big deal. This job isn't too bad. So what I'm going to do next is separate the leather from the actual seat cushion. And the seat cushion is falling apart. As you can see, it's very flimsy. It's just not in good condition, so it's not providing a lot of support. That's why I want to replace it. But getting these two apart, pretty straightforward again. Just get some dikes and clip off the hog rings. Got one there. You got, I think, three or four on this side. Yeah, you got 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 4 on either side, and then it just is separated. Okay, so it's the next day, and as you can see, I got the leather separated from the seat cushion. And this is the black seat that has a much better seat cushion, much better support all around, basically. So what I'm going to do is just swap the leather over, and that's what I wanted. That's the process, basically. Disassembling this seat is just going to be the same as the other one. Nothing to it really. There is a difference, however, in the electrical connections. So this one is a square type, the other one is slightly different. So there was a cutoff point somewhere in the e39 model run where they made that change, but luckily the actual wiring harness is very similar, so not a whole lot of changes there, so it makes it easier to splice things if you need to. But this is my 540. So. Okay, so the seat cushion right here is the one from the black seat. It's not in as good condition as I thought it'd be, but it's still better than the previous cushion. To be honest, if I would have known it was in this condition, I would have just bought a new one, but too late for that. So I'll just go with it. So next step is, of course, attaching the seat leather to the cushion. You have guide wires running down the leather and the cushion. I'm going to attach those, not using hog ring clips, but using zip ties, and I'll be back with that. Okay, so I'm right in the middle of securing the seat leather to the seat cushion, and I'm using zip ties here. It might be a little unconventional. I saw someone on YouTube do it once, and I thought I'd try it, and I like it. It's much easier than using the hog ring clips. Basically, you can get keep everything loose like this, line up the seat cover, and then zip tie it down, and it just makes it easier. But all I'm going to do is repeat the process on the other side, and that's about it. So I got the seat leather back on, the seat cushion. No, it wasn't too bad. Let me see. Now it's time to attach the seat cushion to the seat frame, and I'm just going to do that in reverse order. Gonna slide this thigh extender on there, bolt it on from underneath, then stretch the leather on to the seat frame. Just the reverse process as before. Well, it's starting to come together. It's looking pretty good, and because this seat cover, the leather was, is kind of worn out, it was easy to stretch it over the tabs here. I'm going to have to go back and bend the tabs down to kind of snug it up a little bit to make it a better fit. That's quite a few of these I bent back to make it easier to take off, which that's fine. It's no big deal. But yeah, it's coming together. So while you're doing this, make sure the harnesses are going back in the right order, the right way. Make sure you don't pinch anything. You see, and I'm also going to clean these up a little bit with some hot soapy water. So I got the seat trim back on. As you can see, I'm putting the black seat trim on the beige seat leather, which is fine. My interior is two-tone anyway, it's black and beige, so it will go together. So all I got to do now is put the seat backrest back on, route the harness, and put the cover to the backrest back on, and that's it. And here's the finished product.